soul of dirt. An awakening of chaos through the womb. My brain against a wall, against my will. In the heat of sleep and lives lost too soon. I lament, twisted mind, soul of dirt. Tears hidden within dull content. Voice echoes through the land of mind fear. Hope will soon fall. Wasted fingers torn from fear, beating the retreat. Unconscious recognition of the ego, motherfucker. At last, the tongue achieves a dialect. Now we may speak in knowing pinpricks. We who know the lingo, logos, screw you all. Me and I, and any ear that hears it. There is no time for eternity. Sawdust. He had changed his teeth, lips off, sped on the floor, arranged features into a boring mask, strands of hair waving in preservative, massive front doors always open, knee deep in iris and blood red, the fold of his eyes. He awoke that night crying out, knowing his life was in danger. Wild-eyed, his face filled with frenzy. What is it like to be dead? Fugitive tremors ran through his limbs. Bloated face and mouthpiece. Torso shrank, twisted. He draws a breath and voices his thoughts. Low as a sea urchin, a near-empty terminal devoid of life. Voice, oddly disjointed, invokes the unknown men. Un gratitano tenuto su aribase, de una corona de baionete. Black and endless pacing, a little cry of pain. Was he born a widow? Walking with us now? Disemboweled remains of jackal and child. A mind hung in echo. Wide eyes saw dust. Oh, thank you, both of you. I appreciate that. This is nothing. Bring me a voice different from the others, a cruel smile with strong legs emblazoned with scabs and ink, a world I merely enter as a wanderer, an adult guiding the child on its first step, hands ready to shove at the first uncertain move, no wasted moments on the clock. In direct conveyance of divine power, insomniac moon, and my exhausted darling sleeps with unconscious hand upon me. Red roses, signifying love, hate, and aphids. I can feel the twisting black strength of my head, with swollen belly and dead eyes, which at night shatter hidden light into colored crystal fragments. Amid an atmosphere of imitation luxury, I look sadly at those transparent hands and quickly get out of bed. Too easy to turn to heaven. Whenever we lose what delighted us on earth, for death interests only the dead, and I am of that future planet. Cavity. Ashes and hot earth. Dead person's spirit. There is no pleasure spot in bondage. I've been there for 10 years, unseated, performed as a tea party, never ending. I can't help staring mouth to mouth, roasted on the spot. The rest you can find in the newspapers and garbage. Despite what you may have heard, people get killed. In the other flesh. In the other flesh, inscriptions of blood desperately attempt to disclose the truth, bearing the heart of our downfall. Roaring gods of pleasure, flowered with greatness, shall have no end. Their eyes are directed toward the flames. In the world of spirit, good and evil balanced, no longer need for dark secrets. Spoken tongues which are forked, they shall be torn from the mouth of lies. This vision shall become reality in the mind of a diamond, divided from a society of shame. There is no sound or meaning. There is no sound or meaning. The world is dead. A ghost of nightmarish reality prepares for the violent new orbits that spin in the shadows of the human eye. Unused limbs and the sight of things missing. I would like to shake off the maddening limitations of time and space and sanity, so that all the rules of matter and perspective may unhinge and perish. I might even choose to walk the hellish tracks of the living dead. Perhaps they alone have conquered the secrets that I search for. A dying man aware of his approaching death is, perhaps, the only man truly living, which is why I surround myself with the symbols of death. So this next one is going to be my last one for the set. Then I'll be back in a little while. I'd like to dedicate this one to my friend William Faith from Shadow Project. Desperate ritual. Desperate ritual, careless words. Death must be a whisper away. Understanding sickness, we chose a method of attack by seduction. Those seduced are surely placid souls, our own shadows. By definition, I could explain my loss as a loss of expression. 7 years bad luck, each time I pass the mirror. I fear the man behind the mask. Careless ritual, desperate words, death is but a whisper away. I'll be back in a little bit, guys. Thank you so much. I will say, if anybody would like a copy of Rozz's poetry book, I've got a merch table in the front right out there, so I hope to see you guys around. Thank you so much.
How you guys doing tonight? Me too. So, up next, we got some more poetry from our friend Zach, who's going to be reading from the And What About the Bells, Rozz Williams poetry book for us. Some special poems that haven't been read for any of the places that he's been. So I'm going to give the mic over to him and hope you enjoy.
Thank you so much, everybody. Before I start my next set, I'd just like to say I understand it's a really big ask to do this sort of thing in a dance night, so I'd like to thank you guys so much for being quiet and respectful listening to Rozz's work. I really appreciate it, and I know if Rozz was still here, he would appreciate it as well. And this is your friendly reminder, I do have copies of Rozz's book at a merch table right outside. Last year, William Faith and I did a reading event for the book in Chicago. We had some limited edition signed prints, or signed by both of us, or hand numbered out at 34. Those are at the table as well. So my next set's going to be a little short, but I thought I'd read you some stuff from Catastrophe Ballet and Ashes. If you have any Christian death fans in the house tonight. Untitled. The man has come and gone, aroused my photographic memory, loaded the intellectuals, his lubricated straight list, inflicts the vocal dead. Beat, beat. Impossible leaps soften the surrounding view, leaps appoint his eulogy to the bullets that rip through his side. Like fire under whores, insects' smiling eyes project rain, blaze against his teeth. The accosted prey, the injured prey, Africa's girl lost the beat. Confessions of a Blind Man. I walk past the piles of teeth and hair and splintered wooden fingers to a field of marigolds, where nameless friends sleep beneath a blanket of soil. My eyes circle the perimeter, catching glimpse of a man in his coat of arms. The atrocity general is dead, he cried. The perversity auditorium has crumbled. The catastrophe ballet is our last remaining hope. His feet removed, he stood, an angelic amputee, a child with no bones. Carnival, carnival, a carnival of scenes. Send in the clowns, trained seals, and sideshow freaks. Send in mothers with bleeding possessions, dying fathers, and Indian warriors. Bring us liquor, mirrors, and shields. Carnival, carnival, a carnival of screams. Heat. Once in a lifetime, once every moment, he stood under doorways, and he stood over there. His point of view was fever on the thread of light. My point of view was shaken. He took my mind. All clocks misunderstood him. illusions shattered slightly. My cigarette was taken slowly. A simple walk that fooled him built language high. He kept our mouths shut, tight and peeled. Somewhere in hunger he slept aloud. I asked of dream starvation. He gave me his mind. We will not stay forever. We will not stay forever. His dreams dream dreams for me. It's 3 inches between here and there. He left my body breaking backs. His heat betrays me, keeping distance between cures. He lays his head dumb on my mouth. Experiments, his breathing, held out on land. Proof that I am dreaming. His bed and I need dreaming. Left in the dark we breathe. These covers keep us warm. And the day will disappear. Talk just can't last forever in this room. Somewhere in hunger we slept aloud, brought out of dream starvation. He stayed behind. I will not stay forever. I will not stay forever. His dreams dream dreams for me. He's cruel, and so am I. I will drift away. I will say nothing as I die. Just where I want to be with my hands missing. Now I'm left on my own, and I can see forever. Plan out another lifetime. Remember murder. Know what it means to grow old. Know how it feels to change the color of your skin. My dreams sleep out loud. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'll be back at the end of the night with another set.
Well. Just want to thank you guys so much for coming out tonight. Where would we be without you? It's awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for Craft Brew Underground for staying open an hour later for us. And thank you to Vanessa and DJ Foxy. Vanessa for working the door and DJ Foxy for throwing down the tunes. We got one more reading from Zach Shaw to close out the night. So gonna hand it over to him. He's got books for sale if you want to grab one on your way out. It's the And What About the Bells, Rozz Williams poetry book. So that's what we're here for. So hope you enjoy.
All right, everyone, we're in the home stretch here. Thank you guys again so much for listening. I really appreciate it. So tonight's special for me because I actually live a couple hours from here, so it's nice to do something close to home for a change. So I wanted to start off this last set with a poem that's never been read publicly before. Untitled. Eat toothless, trying to sleep, cavities cleaning life. Men are cold and can't keep love. Hate mouth removing control, tattooed sheet vision, vanity slave, puts them in solitary stomachs. Poisoning dreams, taste city stages. They are not standing hard. The catheter would not be put into the body, twisted in a jar, remember? Eccentrics exist the next day. You can sharpen your hair in wet nausea kitchens, decorative tongues, starving dolls buy your husband's hands and save pillows, lubricate the neck to prevent dirt, push for simplicity, holding a bullet over your mouth, sticking arms open end up into doubt. He knew the prostitute watching his drunk son in the gutter. A living room can be dark, but an attic is corded muscle. Dream breath and concept. You may have to eat them old. Boys thrust thick romantic souls on leather. couldn't slip off their shoulders. Beds, shaped his entire body, transformed. I want to pray for you and pregnancy. Blonde boy, absurd, he had no sex. Others' arms didn't seem necessary. Premature ejaculation. The realization of death before birth. The conscious dream, the violence of beauty, and the result of that dream. The realization that not only is performance a sequence of dreams, but that life through death is of one's mind to succeed or to fail. Through this performance we are set free, freedom being the capability to use the whole mind, the reality of subconsciousness, the most premature of all ejaculations. Tear the cage from your skull, take aim and fire. So, just out of curiosity, is anybody here familiar with an album called The Horse's Mouth? Alright, one person, thank you. That's better than some of the other places I've been. Well, that album came out 30 years ago this year, so I'm going to read a piece that wound up on that album. Hemispheric Energy by Rozz Williams and Ryan Wildstar. Hemispheric energy, channeling out from 1,000 different directions. The feeling cannot be held down long enough to rape, but when felt, it may burrow through your skeleton instantaneously, all at once making you aware of the whirlpool of atoms keeping the world in motion. This world, tossed into monstrous chaotic waves, obscured by its own shadow. No light in these dimensions of phosphorus brain fear, no clear vision of hope or redemption. Eyes torn away by savage mental battles, a war carried on in endless blindness and cruelty. Weaklings cannot survive on a wave of nothing for long without some help. The rest is gesture, congested feeling, and an unwillingness to resist temptation. A man of many faces, this father of temptation, all at once guided and yet guarded. There has been no attempt to conceal the outcome. It shall be swift and ruthless, the pain sharp and full circle. The world in which we suffer now shall seem a pleasant memory. Recall, smashed from cages of non-being, where the lone lives inside a creature. Fold and regather your feathers. A ruffled plume does nothing for the soul of crying winters. Die. Disengage. Dissolve into the recesses from whence you spewed. And wrestle the golden monkey of the dawn. This next one, Rozz read at his last public performance before he took his own life. The fiddle played on while burning. For Eric Christides, 1997. No love lost, forgotten at any cost. This dream will never fade. Raid the gates of heaven, and love shall meet you there. Wings, my child, wings, always belong to you. The fiddle played on while burning. There is more like it left in the bowl, a mouthful. Soon to be sick, this servant of God. Crying and known to fulfill insolent timbers. A city in which we live dreams. Triumph on the back of this steer. Climb higher. Let the sun shine down on them. Let the sun shine down on them. As all mortals perish, sleep in peace. We are amateurs. Water in your hands. So the next couple poems I'd like to do are actually pretty silly. It shows that not everything in the book is so dark and mysterious. So this one is called Mild Aphrodisiac with Pitted Cherries. The crocodiles file by so slow and whisper in the ear of a rose, who snaps photos of the ocean in the gray mornings of centurions. Those who say we are nothing more than God's creation have no noses to speak of, and will live with the ostrich in heaven's sand. But the xylophone will sing at the prisoner's ball and waltz with zebras in the intimate streets of desire, for the convict only dances when loose on the world. I have to say, I've read a lot of poems in all the cities I've been to over the past few years, but this one I'm about to read, it's only one line, it gets a bigger reaction than any other poem I've read. It's called Beyond Eternal Edge of the Fish Gutters. Most times, I feel like a goat amongst hogs. That's it. So I'm at the last poem of the night, I want to thank you guys again one more time. I've said it 1,000 times, but thank you so much for being a great audience. I really appreciate it. I always close with this poem for the reason it's the last poem of the book. It's autobiographical, and it's about Rozz's desire to leave this plane of existence. This one is called Ether of Night. It seems as if I've been on this road for years, my guide nearly 6 feet deep, but life goes on in present-day disorder, delirium, and chronic lunacy. A man's body is tortured, and the theme of death emerges, innate and predestined, disguised as a choice. This image, neither human nor inhuman, shaped like wax in a mold of what it is not, is that of someone I cannot identify because he is so close to me. I am motionless in this sequence, a silent witness to old dreams and dying hope. Sweet dreams will soon be mine, whispering my forgotten name in violet evening skies. No longer earthbound, but withdrawing, taking it all away, like breath across a lighted candle. And I ask myself, what holds me back? Eyes blazing with fierce, savage innocence. In other words, bloodlust. A pantomime of abject fear. And I think this only happens in dreams. There must be no outcry that might betray me. And I think, when I think of myself, that my thought seeks the ether of night, eternal shadows, far from this numb body and the price of its unfolding. And I think all I want is out of here. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Freight, for having me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
And I want
Thank you again for coming out, and I hope you drive safe.